I have decided to not attempt to pursue Ghanaian citizenship by descent. And it's because I would have to work with my mother to get information from her. And I've been in contact with her for 4 years. I think that some doors are not meant to be reopened. And, I've just gone through a lot with her, a lot of abuse. And the more I think of it, it's just, I'm at peace with my life. I'm not willing to reopen that door to deal with more abuse. I've gotten a lot of therapy. I feel like I've done everything on my part that I could possibly do to repair that relationship. But I think at a certain point of time, you have to go no contact with that person, especially if they're not going to change, right? I have been in therapy since the age of 10 pretty consistently. There have been gaps between sometimes maybe 6 months. I didn't have health insurance. I was between jobs and I just didn't have health insurance. And so therapy here in the US is very expensive, especially when health insurance won't cover it because you don't have health insurance. But I've done a lot for myself in getting the therapy that I need and doing the things that I need to do for myself. And I'm just not willing to revisit that. I remember when my sibling and I were very young. And I think this was like the late 90s. I don't think it was early 2000s. I think it was the late 90s. Don't really know the exact date, but I remember my sibling and I, and so my mother took my sibling and I to Dairy Queen, and we were in the parking lot, and my mother drove away without us. And I remember my sibling being so scared and so upset. My sibling started crying, and I remember telling them, it's okay. I know how to get home. We were over 2 miles away. This is back in a time where we didn't have cell phones. We weren't even old enough to drive, so we didn't have a car. And what did my mother expect us to do? Walk home? Over 2 miles away, we were supposed to walk home? Like, that is crazy. We could have been kidnapped. We could have been abducted. We could have been unalived. Somebody could have seriously hurt us. And for my mother to just drive away as if we meant nothing is crazy to me. I've been doing some research on it, and I stumbled across Reddit. A lot of narcissistic parents did that to their children, dropped them off somewhere, and just drove off without them. Extremely traumatizing. I don't know how you even get over that. Like, that's so scary to just know, okay, well, she's gone. What are we supposed to do? That's just like the earliest memory of abuse that I have from her. When I was 10, and of course, like she eventually came back. I don't remember how long she was gone, but like, who does that? Who does that to their children? Like, this woman carried us in her womb, gave birth to us, and just decided just gonna abandon you in a parking lot and make you fend for yourself and be scared. For what? Dominance? Control? Like, what is the purpose of that? That is so scary and traumatizing. The next thing I remember is, so when I was 10, my mother really wanted to get me diagnosed with a bunch of health issues. So I ended up being taken to I think it was like University of Minnesota, and I was diagnosed with a bunch of stuff and put on a bunch of different medications. I had horrible, horrible side effects. Headaches, stomach aches, nausea. In my opinion, the medication did not work. Anytime I would complain, I would be told, well, this is what's good for you. The doctor says you need to take it. No care whatsoever for my health and how sick I felt. I remember when I was 17, and mind you, I have a really hard time swallowing pills. You know, the doctor will say, oh, well, you just need exposure therapy. I went through exposure therapy. I was already in therapy at that time. And exposure therapy didn't help. I'm 34. I still have trouble swallowing pills, capsules, anything. If I'm in pain and I have to take ibuprofen, I'll take it, but I still struggle to swallow anything. Even food sometimes. I feel like I'm choking on my food. I feel like I should probably see a specialist about it, but it's hard when the doctor's like, there's nothing wrong with you. You need therapy, you know? But when I was 17, after 7 years of consistently taking pharmaceuticals, right, for these health issues, depression, anxiety, etc., I remember I stopped taking my medication. I didn't want to take it anymore. It made me feel really sick. I had a really hard time swallowing pills. And I don't know how the conversation started, but I remember my mother told me, if you don't take your medication, I'm going to take you to court and get a judge to court order you to take the medication or put you in a mental institution. You know what that would have done to me? Putting me in a mental institution where I'd just be drugged against my will? Who threatens like that? Like, that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy that she would threaten that. And of course, like, as an adult, why would I ever trust her ever again? Because she could 100% get me put in a mental institution. She could lie. I remember reading a story about this woman, an adult woman. I don't remember how old she was, but her mother got her put in a mental institution. It was very hard to get her out. It is very hard to get you out of a place like that when there's no one advocating for you. And if your own mother puts you there, again, that's just crazy to me that she thought it was okay to threaten me like that. I remember when I was 25, close to turning 26, my mother wanted me out of her house. I did some things I shouldn't have done. I take accountability for my actions. I have no issues with that. But my mother gave me basically 30 days to get out of her house. And she gave me a fake eviction notice. I say fake because it wasn't notarized. It wasn't signed by a judge. It was fake. But I was scared. I'm just like, I have severe depression, anxiety. I told my friend, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. My mother wants me out in 30 days. My friend ended up finding me a place. But in the time that my friend was looking for a place for me, my mother threatened me again. She told me, if you don't get out of my house, I'm going to call the police and have you removed. If you don't get out of my house, I'm going to wait till you go to work, take your 2 dogs to the pound. Now, my depression was very, very bad back then. I had thoughts of unaliving myself every single day. It was that bad. And the only reason I didn't do anything is because I had to take care of my dogs. If I didn't take care of them, who was going to take care of them? There was no one else to take care of them. Like, I didn't have anyone else in my life who was going to take care of them. So I kept myself alive for them. Had my mother taken my dogs to the pound, I wouldn't have been able to get them back. And I would have been homeless. I would have unalived myself. Like, it was that bad. So for her to threaten to take the only 2 beings in the world away from me because she wanted control, I've forgiven her for the way she treated me, but I would never be able to trust her ever again. The day that I moved out, my best friend found me a place off of Craigslist. It was $800 a month in the city. I was in the suburbs of Minnesota, but she found a place for me in the city. I could keep my 2 dogs. I didn't have to pay anything extra for my 2 dogs. I was working 2 jobs. The day that my friends were helping me move, my mother pulls me aside and tells me, whatever you leave behind, I'm going to throw away. Again, another threat. I think we spent an extra 30 minutes to an hour, possibly more, looking for more of my stuff, so we didn't leave anything behind. We did leave a lot of stuff behind, childhood stuff. Later, many, many years later, I wanted my birth certificate. My mother's like, oh, and I have some things for you. She gave me 4 boxes worth of stuff. I do have older videos where I do talk about the stuff that she gave me. I don't really want to go into it here, but again, the threats. Threatening me because she's not getting her way. And it's interesting, she wanted me out of her house. I was getting out of her house, but yet she threatened me yet again. It's the threats. It's so weird. It's so weird to me. I went no contact with her after I moved out. I think I didn't block her though. She ended up reaching out. I don't know how she got my new address. I can't remember if my sibling gave it to her or I gave it to her or how exactly she got it. She would send me, I think, $150 checks once a month or every other month. She knew I needed money, right? And so that was her way of trying to slide back into my life because, oh, if I send her money, she has to reach out and say thank you. It came a point in time where I was working with a therapist and I'm just like, I need to stop taking money from this woman. Like, she hates me. I truly believe that she hates me, but she wants like control over me, even though she wanted me out of her house. So I finally had to tell her, if you keep sending me checks, I'll be forced to either send them back or shred them. Like, I can't take them anymore. And that ended that. I went no contact with her several times before I finally went no contact with her for good. It was really hard, to be honest. My sibling would encourage me in a way that felt very manipulative to reach back out to my mother, saying things like, oh, you know, mom's really sad you won't talk to her. She doesn't understand why you won't talk to her. You know, she cries. She just wants to talk to you again. You're both very stubborn. You have to reach out to her because mom won't reach out to you. And it's like, how much abuse do I have to go through before this person just leaves me alone? You know, my mother would send flying monkeys after me, her flying monkeys. That was her way to gain control over me when she didn't directly have control over me. I can proudly say it has been 4 years since I last spoke to her. The last time I met up with her, I felt like, you know, it's interesting. The last time I met up with her 4 years ago, I was on the border of, I don't know if I want a relationship with her or not. I was nearing towards, I don't want a relationship with her. But depending on how the conversation would go, would dictate if I would give her another chance. Because before, I think when I moved out, I told her, you know, please get therapy. If you get therapy, we can work on our relationship. As far as I know, she's never gotten therapy. It's interesting too. She would always blame me for things. Oh, you should take this to therapy. You should take that to therapy. You should work on this. You should work on that. And when I would ask her to work on something, she'd be like, you don't talk to me like that. I'm the mother. You're the child. As if I'm being disrespectful by wanting to have an adult conversation with her because I didn't like the way she talked to me. So the last time I met up with her over 4 years ago, I just didn't like how the conversation went. I felt like she wasn't taking accountability for her actions, for the way that she treated me. I even told her I'm on a plant-based diet now. I don't have depression or anxiety anymore. I've healed those things. If you just, you know, listened to me and didn't put me on drugs, it could have been better. And, you know, the response is, oh, well, we didn't know back then. Isn't that like a thing? People who grow up in a household where they're smoking cigarettes, they say the same thing. Oh, well, we didn't know it was bad. It's interesting that they say that. They say things like that because there are families that do know it's bad. You don't have to be told it's bad. You can know that it's bad. There were families way back when that changed their kids' diets. They didn't have to be told by a doctor or anyone else. They just changed the kids' diets because they're like, we care about the child. But I've even asked my mother, why do you hate me? And her response has always been, I don't hate you, I love you. But with all the ways that she treated me, I truly feel like she hates me. And after all of this, she would be delighted if I reached back out to her and said, hey, I would love to chat with you and see if we could have a relationship. But my peace is so important to me. It has taken me so long. When people go no contact with parents, it's not the first thing they typically think of. It's typically the last thing. They have to do what they have to do to protect themselves. It took me a very long time to finally go no contact with her and make it a permanent thing. Because again, like I said, I had reached out to her before. I would go like maybe a year no contact, reach back out because someone in the family was sent after me. One of my mother's flying monkeys was sent after me to make me feel guilty and be like, oh, maybe my mother has changed. Maybe I should reach out to her. I've also been doing research on Ghanaian citizenship by descent and the passport. The passport would only get me into like 40 to 50 different countries visa-free, which typically it would help for African countries, right? I've been to Africa 2 times under the age of 5. Honestly, I'm not even interested in going back. It's more of maybe a fear of missing out of why I even thought of getting Ghanaian citizenship by descent to begin with. Because it's like, well, my mother's from there. It should be an easy citizenship to get. Why not? But I don't have a desire to ever go back to Ghana or Africa. I don't have any family members that I remember meeting. All of my family members are in the US, so I don't need Ghanaian citizenship by descent to travel to the places that I really want to travel to, right? Like once I get my Canadian citizenship, I could live, work, study, whatever in Canada. Once I get my Hungarian citizenship, that opens all of Europe for me, which I would love to go and move to Europe, or I would love to move to Hungary. Like that's what I'm going for because I'm learning Hungarian, right? But I'm not interested in learning my mother's language, Twi. I'm not interested in learning any African languages whatsoever. I feel at peace with my decision. I'm not interested in opening closed doors. I think, again, some doors are meant to close and stay closed. And my life has gotten 1,000 times better since going no contact with her. So yeah, I feel good about this decision. Like I said, I don't even need Ghanaian citizenship by descent. It's just more of it was a fear of missing out. Oh, I could get it and I could have that. But realistically, I don't even see myself traveling to Africa. But if I really wanted to go, I'll just get a visa like everyone else, you know?